We are now on item 62. Tim Sobelman.
Thank you, Chair Norton. Commissioners, item 63 is an information item. I'm sorry, item 62 is an information item pursuant to Government Code Section 14526.6. Caltrans is required to report to the Commission quarterly for projects which complete construction in the previous quarter for all major shop projects. Donna Berry, Caltrans Division Chief of Project Management, is here to present the fourth quarter project delivery report for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. I'll turn it over to Donna.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, Chair Norton, Commissioners, and Transportation partners. My name is Donna Berry, and I am the Division Chief for the Division of Project Management. In this presentation, I will be presenting the project delivery report for the fourth quarter. Next slide, please. Before I begin, I will briefly talk about the project delivery process. At the beginning of the project, we go through the asset management and planning process to develop a project initiation document, also known as the PID. As we complete each phase, we return to the Commission to allocate funds for the next phase, which is shown by the white arrows. Next slide. This data represents the results of the fourth quarter for fiscal year 2021, project delivery performance measures. The performance measure is related to the delivery milestone on the previous slide, which is compared to the 5-year average. In general, we are lower than previous years. This is because Caltrans is taking intelligent and agreed upon risks when developing our delivery plan. We took intelligent risk to push our delivery to maximize the dollars and milestones delivered. By maximizing the dollars, we delivered more benefit than if we had not managed through the risk. Please understand that this was intentional and a deliberate strategy for the department. Next slide, please. Project delivery performance measures show the success for delivery for the STIP and SHOP programs for fiscal year 2021. Costs are calculated 6 months after the end of construction. This table includes support and capital costs. By the end of quarter 4 for fiscal year 2021, 11 STIP projects totaling $700 million were completed under budget by $64 million. 268 SHOP projects totaling $2.2 billion were completed under budget by about $354 million. Next slide, please. In the quarterly report, we highlight the number of projects potentially needing supplemental funds, their current budgets, and the cost potential risk. We identify the risk, we manage the risk, we communicate the risk, which may result in a Commission action in collaboration with Commission staff. For the last 3 quarters, Caltrans has provided a short description of the cause of each risk on the watch list. We work closely with Commission staff to identify categories of risk, which are shown here for quarter 4. This allows us to identify the most common risk drivers and then work to avoid, mitigate, or transfer those risks. For fiscal year 2021, fourth quarter, the most common risks are design strategy changes, right-of-way acquisition, utility conflicts, relocations, and construction site issues. A definition of these descriptions are available in the quarterly report. Next slide, please. This slide shows the budget risk that Caltrans is actively managing as a result of active risk management. Many of these risks will not materialize and will not require Commission action. During pre-construction, we are actively working on over 1,100 projects and managing risk for 49 of these projects. We are working through our project delivery teams and process to minimize the risk and maximize the benefits for successful delivery, such as modifying scope, changing strategy, or requesting the supplemental funds. There are over 640 active projects in construction, and we are managing risk for 40 projects at this time. During final closeout, which includes claims, arbitration, environmental mitigation, and right-of-way, there are 9 projects which may result in a supplemental. These projects have achieved contract acceptance. We are actively managing these risks. It's important to keep in mind that not all of these projects will come forward for a supplemental allocation. Next slide, please. This slide shows a status of fiscal year 21-22 milestones as of September 2021. This data does not include minor or maintenance projects. It also does not include emergency projects and safety projects that were unanticipated at the start of the fiscal year. The numbers in green are accomplishments to date, and the targets are also shown in yellow. We will continue to keep you informed with our progress as we move through the fiscal year. Next slide, please. Comparing the bidding environment for fiscal year 1920 and 2021, as you can see, the number of projects that went out to bid increased over the last year, and bid savings increased from 9.9 to 12.7%. The number of bidders increased to 6.1 bidders per project. We are seeing better bids because we are seeing a higher number of bidders per project. As the economy opens back up, we may experience a lower number of bidders. We will continue to monitor the bidding environment and adjust accordingly. That concludes my presentation, and I thank you for the opportunity to present to you today.
Thank you so much. This is very, very helpful. This is an information item, so I do not see any public comment, and nor do I see commissioners wishing to speak. So thank you very much for this information, and we'll move on to items 63 through 65. Tim?
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Commissioners, item 63 is an action item for a curb ramp and sidewalk ADA project on State Route 29 in Napa County that is requesting an initial allocation that exceeds the program amount by more than 20% for construction support and construction capital. The increases in construction capital and construction support were identified during the design phase and are mainly due to a larger increase in the number of electrical systems needed to be replaced than was originally anticipated. In addition, there was increases in drainage work, pavement structural section changes, and other increases to other items. Staff has reviewed the project and the request and recommend the commission approve this item. Are there any questions?
No, and there is no public comment on this item.
I do. I'm so sorry. I have a quick question. Sorry, Chair. I hope I don't sound, let me just think about this. This item and some of the proceeding and just know that I'm very interested in seeing all of these projects done. I'm just trying to understand as kind of the newbie. I understand about cost increases, absolutely, especially with with things just being more now and in labor and materials. But triple digit increases, is that something that we see quite a bit? I just want to understand in general.
I would say in general that is not the magnitude of increases that we traditionally see in these items. There are a number on the agenda today that are that way. In regards to these first three items, these projects are ready for construction. And when changes are identified in the delivery year, there aren't opportunities to make changes as we make traditionally through amendments to the shop. When they're outside of the delivery year, they have the opportunity to do that. When they are in the delivery year, this is the opportunity to request what is needed for the final, based on the final certified engineer's estimate. So I guess I went a little bit further. The main answer to your question is no, we don't traditionally see this magnitude of percent of an increase.
Okay, I just see them like one after the other in this agenda, and so it just kind of gave me pause about wanting to understand if this is something routine. But I appreciate the explanation, Tim.
You're welcome.
Thank you. With that, we need a motion on this item. Commissioners, would someone like to move item 63?
Motion to approve, Martinez.
Second, Lou.
Martinez, Lou, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby. Commissioner Grisby?
Oh, sorry. Yes, aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Item 64.
Commissioners, item 64 is an action item for Advanced Transportation Management System project requesting an initial allocation that exceeds the program amount by more than 20% for both construction support and construction capital. The increase in construction capital and support is related to the project scope changing from upgrading and installing the Advanced Transportation Management System software, hardware, and related components in District 4 to 14 locations statewide. CTC staff has been working closely with Caltrans to gather additional information related to this change to a statewide project. However, additional time is needed to continue working with Caltrans before CTC staff can make the appropriate recommendation on the project. So today, CTC staff is recommending deferring this item until the December CTC meeting.
Okay, and the deferment doesn't require a vote. We can just defer and take off the agenda, correct? Right? Tim?
That's a good question.
Madam Chair, we would recommend that you do vote for the deferment.
So we'll vote on,
Thank
so we are going to take a motion to defer, okay?
If that's the commission's preference, yes.
Thank you. There's no public comment on item 64. Commissioners, do you have any comments? If not, could we entertain a motion to defer as recommended by CTC staff?
Make that motion. Second.
I heard Tavaloni and Davis. Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion to defer is approved.
Thank you very much. Item 65, Tim?
Thank you. Item 65 is an action item for a roadside signage project in multiple counties on various routes, requesting an initial allocation that exceeds the program amount by more than 20% for both construction support and construction capital. The increase in construction capital is related to an increase in the number of signs than was originally anticipated required at each location to comply with the California Manual on the Uniform Traffic Control Devices. In addition, during the plan specification and estimate phase, it was determined that freeway ramp locations were not originally included in the project. This also increased the number of signs necessary to meet the federal mandate. The increase in construction support is due to the increase in amount of locations and signs to be installed. Also, the project has increased from 1 to 2 construction seasons, with working days increasing from 200 to 275. Staff has reviewed the project and the request and will recommend the commission approve this item.
Okay, seeing that there's no public comment on item 65 and no commissioners wishing to speak, could we entertain a motion on this item?
So moved, Commissioner Eager.
Second.
Eager, Inman, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Tavaloni, I'm sorry, Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now we'll be moving on to 66 through 68. Tim?
Thank you. I will be presenting 66 through 68 together with a recommendation at the end. Item 66 is an action item for a bridge preventive maintenance and scour mitigation project on State Route 29 in Napa County that is requesting a supplemental allocation for pre-construction support for the plan specifications and estimate phase in the amount of $1.95 million. Please note minor corrections to this book item and agenda as identified on the change list. The increase in support costs for the plan specification estimate phase is due to the need to redesign one of the bridges. At the end of the plan specification and estimate phase, while Caltrans was obtaining all the necessary permits, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife determined there was a fish passage barrier at one of the bridges, Garnet Branch Creek Bridge, that would be required to be removed per Senate Bill 857 due to the presence of coho historic habitat. This new requirement necessitates a complete redesign at this location. Due to the late determination of the existence of fish barrier requiring remediation and redesign of the bridge, complete redesign of the bridge at this location, several steps have been taken to prevent this type of occurrence from happening in the future. The district now has a member on the Fish Passage Advisory Committee. All biology staff will be receiving training on SB 857 requirements, and steps have been taken to form a multidisciplinary working group focusing on channel design and fish passage issues. External efforts include monthly interagency meetings with permitting agencies to discuss program and project level issues. Item 67 is an action item for a bridge replacement project on State Route 1 in Marin County that is requesting a supplemental allocation for pre-construction support for the plan specification and estimates phase of an amount of $1.275 million. Please note, there is a yellow replacement book item as identified on the change list. The increase in support costs is mainly due to changes in utility relocation requirements and impacts from a CEQA lawsuit. After the 2019 North Bay wildfires, during the plan specification and estimate phase, PG&E changed their power line easement requirements. These changes impacted the size and project footprint and triggered additional environmental studies and a revalidation of the environmental document. In addition, unanticipated resources were expended towards the CEQA lawsuit. Supplemental funds will be used to obtain permits, provide design support to acquire property rights, develop the traffic management plan for a full closure of State Route 1, and to advertise and approve the contract. Item 68 is an action item for an ADA curb ramp project on State Route 107 in Los Angeles County, requesting a supplemental allocation for pre-construction support for the plan specification and estimate phase of $500,000 and the right-of-way support phase of $1.3 million. Please note the slight edit on the agenda for this item as identified on the change list. The increase in the plan specification estimate phase and right-of-way support costs are due to an increase in the number of curb ramps being added to this project and more complex right-of-way work at many locations. This ADA curb ramp project was split from another ADA curb ramp project with the intent of delivering less curb ramps in a timely manner. This project contains the more complicated locations and initially had 38 curb ramps. However, it was later determined additional curb ramp locations from that original project were more complicated than expected and were moved to this project, increasing the number of locations from 38 to 59. When the projects were initially split, there was an oversight by Caltrans to properly resource PS&E and right-of-way support phases. This resulted in unutilized funds on the other project. In addition, during the PS&E phase, significantly more right-of-way impacts were identified, compounding the need for increased right-of-way support costs. Due to increasing the number of curb ramps, additional resources were needed for field surveys, topographic mapping, ramp layout design, traffic design, utility identification, and right-of-way mapping that was not originally anticipated. So the supplemental allocation for the PS&E phase will be used to complete the plan specifications and estimate phase and to advertise and award the contract. Commissioners, do you have any questions on items 66 through 68?
We have no public comment, and Commissioner Liu wanted to be recognized on 68.
Yes, Tim, thanks for that presentation. I do have a question on, or a couple questions on 68. I don't know if you or Caltrans would be better to answer them, but I noticed in this book item that a majority of the right-of-way complexities, and they are complicated, weren't identified until the plans, specifications, and estimate phase of the project. And I'm wondering why Caltrans didn't identify them earlier in the development of this project.
I believe Caltrans is on the line, and I would prefer that they respond. Caltrans, who from District 7 is available to respond?
Yes, good morning, Chair Norton, Commissioner Liu, Commissioners, Executive Director Weiss. This is Tony Tavares, Caltrans Director for District 7, Los Angeles and Ventura counties. The question, as was asked, is why did Caltrans not identify the difficulty in these right-of-way acquisitions and issues around right-of-way on this project. As the project team was delivering what we call the parent project, we did identify that there were several locations that were extremely complex, and that's the reason why we split the project out into two child projects. Child one had what we believed to be at the time more of the low-hanging fruit, more of the type of projects or locations that could be delivered with minimal complexities when it came to right-of-way. As we were delivering that project, we realized that there were several locations that required more intervention with our right-of-way team and some of the businesses to obtain temporary construction easements or permanent easements. This was a learning opportunity for the team as well. As we were going down this path, we realize now that there are several corporate businesses that own many of the properties along this stretch. And it was brought to our attention that rather than simply negotiating a temporary construction easement, these corporate business board of directors require that we go through the condemnation process. And most of the condemnations for these properties, I believe there's 25 or so, will be non-contested, but it is more of a formality required by the corporate business practices. And so this is the learning opportunity for our team. We're taking that back and sharing these lessons learned with the team as well. So as we do proceed with future ADA projects, that we try to identify these earlier in the process. As mentioned also by Donna Berry, we have been trying to maximize our limited funding dollars on transportation projects and being very intentional in taking calculated risks to deliver more projects with the dollars that we do have. And we try to do the same here. We were effective on some locations, but obviously we do have an anomaly that we are coming to the commission today requesting additional funds so that we can complete the project.
Thank you, Director Tavares. I think it would be great if you could hold on for this next question too, because it seems like it's a large amount of resources to be expended this year for right-of-way, and I'm just wondering if your team's confident that you'll be able to deliver this year.
No, that's an excellent question. So yes, we still are planning and we are confident we can deliver the project. Most likely we will have to deliver the project as a 3W certification, right-of-way certification, which is a workaround as we go through the condemnation process with several of these corporate businesses. We do believe though that we can provide as far as directing the contractor on which locations they can proceed and begin work at. And as we clear some of these condemnations, then we are able to provide those locations to the contractor to continue working. We do not anticipate that it will impact the contractor's productivity or create excessive delays to the project, but we are still contemplating to deliver this project and move it into construction as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you. I just, as someone who lives near, Hawthorne Boulevard, State Route 107, it seems like could be a tremendous asset to the several, cities and communities that it runs through. If there's ever complete streets, the bus rapid transit, bike route opportunity in this South Bay community, I mean, this one's it. So project developers out there, this one's ripe for doing much more than just ADA compliance. Thank you, Director Tavares, for those answers.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, Commissioner Liu.
Thank you so much. And with that, we have no public comment on this item and no other comments by commissioners. So I'd like to entertain a motion on items 66 through 68.
Motion to approve Martinez?
Second, Lou.
Thank you. Martinez, Lou, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. Now we'll move to 69 and 70. Tim?
Commissioners, I'll be presenting items 69 and 70 together with a recommendation at the end. Item 69 is an action item for a bridge vertical clearance project on Interstate 80 in Solano County, requesting a supplemental allocation of construction support to complete construction in the amount of $3.75 million. Please note the slight edit to the book item as identified on the change list. The increase in construction support is due to unanticipated complexity of the construction activities coupled with the differing site conditions and associated delays due to compliance with COVID-19 protocols. During construction, a number of site conditions were significantly different than were identified on the as-built plans, and due to these changed conditions, the methodology for jacking up the bridges to conduct the work had to be changed. The proposed solution required extensive reviews for approvals, revisions, and monitoring requirements that were not anticipated. The new methodology will be used on the remaining bridges of the project. This accounts for the majority of the additional support requested. Other support needs are related to special requirements of the project to have a temporary bike and pedestrian shuttle operating 24 hours a day. Adjusting to the COVID restriction protocols required significant staff time to determine how to safely operate the shuttle and provide the necessary public outreach that were not originally anticipated. Item 70 is an action item for ADA accessibility, pedestrian pathways, and signal project on State Route 41 in San Luis Obispo County, requesting a supplemental allocation for construction capital to complete construction in the amount of $1.695 million. The increase in construction capital is due to differing site conditions, driveway and sidewalk rework, and item overruns. Caltrans anticipated utilities would be relocated by the utility companies prior to construction. However, this was not done in a timely manner. Also, utility conflicts were encountered beyond what was originally anticipated. This caused inefficiency claims by the contractor and resulted in delays and inefficiencies installing retaining walls, drainage facilities, sidewalks, and a number of other items. The project also had cost increases due to work character change claims. This was due to the cross slopes used in the designs of the driveway and sidewalk tapers not meeting ADA requirements. This caused redesign and reconstruction at certain locations. The project is 95% complete, and the supplemental funds will be used for the remaining bike lane striping, punch list items, and to address the contract change orders on the project. Commissioners, staff has reviewed items 69 and 70 and recommends approval. Do you have any questions?
Seeing that there's no public comment and no commissioners that wish to speak on these items, I'll entertain a motion on 69 and 70.
Move it, Tavaloni.
Second, Eager.
Okay, Tavaloni, Eager. Douglas, could you please do the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gordino.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now, item 71, Tim?
Item 71 is an action item for a roadside safety project on State Route 101 in Monterey County, requesting a allocation for construction capital to close out construction for the amount of $640,000. The increase in construction capital is needed to pay for contract claims, arbitration, and legal fees from submitted contract change orders. This project was completed in March of 2017. The contractor disputed an amount of a contract change order and after long negotiations, entered into arbitration with Caltrans. Arbitration resulted in the contractor being awarded $475,000 for overhead direct costs and additional traffic control. After adding interest and legal fees and utilizing the remaining available funding, the project requires the additional $640,000 in supplemental funds to close out the project. Staff has reviewed the project and the request and recommends approval.
Move approval, Gordino.
Second, Tavaloni.
Okay, we have no public comment on this item. Gordino, Tavaloni, motion. Douglas, could you please do the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Before we take up item 72, we have an announcement from Commissioner Inman.
I think I'm good, Madam Chair.
Okay, we had you listed as a
I'm
recusal.
sorry. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead of this one in my mind. Thank you for keeping me honest. Madam Chair, I wish to recuse myself. I am a member of the Board of Trustees at the University of Redlands, so I will recuse myself on this item. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you so much. With Commissioner Inman's mic and video off, Casey, could you please present this item?
Yes, thank you. Tab 72 is an action item. This is a supplemental request for the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program. The San Bernardino County Transportation Authority is requesting an additional $1,200,000 to complete construction for the diesel multiple unit vehicle to zero or low emission vehicle conversion project. This request will support a larger battery pack that will provide additional power needed to pull multiple passenger cars while operating without the need to charge frequently. In addition, the agency was unaware the project required Federal Railroad Administration requirements, including positive train control technology and testing. This is the second increase request specific to this component. The first increase of $11,500,000 was due to unanticipated costs to procure the diesel locomotive. San Bernardino County Transportation Authority was awarded $30 million in TIRCP funds in the 2018 cycle. To support the increase, the agency will decrease construction from another component. The project that will be decreased will be supplanted with other sources of funds. Staff has reviewed this request and recommends your approval.
Move it Tavaloni.
Second, Falcon.
Okay, Tavaloni Falcon, we have no public comment on this item, just to be noted for the record. Douglas, can you please do the roll?
Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gordino,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez,
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. If Commissioner Inman can please come back into the meeting. John, please present item 73.
Item 73 is an action item to approve amendments to the 2020 shop. As noted on the change list, there is a yellow replacement item, which updates this book item memorandum as well as the attachments. With that change, these shop amendments will revise 16 projects that are currently programmed in the 2020 shop and will also add a total of 29 new projects to the 2020 shop. Of the 29 new projects, 11 are major damage restoration projects, 3 of them are safety projects, and 15 of them are bridge deck preservation projects. These new bridge deck preservation projects were highlighted by Director Omashakin in his presentation yesterday, and they're being added as part of a concentrated and accelerated strategy to help make progress towards meeting the performance targets established in the Transportation Asset Management Plan. Staff has reviewed all of these amendments and finds that they're consistent with the shop guidelines as well as the Transportation Asset Management Plan and recommends approval.
Thank you. Seeing that we have no public comment on item 73, I'll entertain a motion to support.
Eager.
We have a second?
Second, Lou.
Eager, Lou, Douglas, can you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcon,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gordino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Martinez?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now we're on item 74. John?
74 is an information item reporting allocations made by Caltrans for emergency projects for the 2021 fiscal year. The commission has delegated the authority to Caltrans to allocate funds for emergency projects in Resolution G2111, which also requires Caltrans to provide an annual report at the completion of the fiscal year, reporting on all allocations made in the prior year. At the close of the 2021 fiscal year, Caltrans had approved construction contracts in the amount of $506,047,600 from the SHOP major damage reservation. Staff has reviewed this report and finds it acceptable, and that concludes the presentation for this information item.
Excellent. And since this is an information item with no public comment, we'll move on to item 75. Thank you, John. We have no commissioners wishing to speak. And welcome back, John, for item 75, which is an action item.
Thank you. Item 75 is an action item to amend the commission adopted 2020 SHOP to increase the major damage restoration reservation for fiscal year 21-22 by $300 million. This amendment increases the major damage restoration reservation for fiscal year 21-22 from $240 million to $540 million. As Director Omashakin noted in his remarks, the wildfire season has already taken a pretty significant toll this season, and this increase is needed to continue to respond to emergencies through the remainder of the fiscal year. Staff has reviewed this amendment request and recommends approval.
Thank you. We have no public comment on this item and no commissioners that wish to speak. Can I entertain a motion, please?
So
Move it
moved.
Tavaloni.
Inman, Tavaloni, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez.
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go on to item 76. Teresa?
Commissioners, agenda item 76 is an information item. This is a STIP amendment for notice. The Department of Transportation is requesting a STIP amendment to add the State Route 11 Otay Mesa East Port of Entry Segment 3-8 project in San Diego County in the Coordinated Border Infrastructure Program. Government code requires all border infrastructure program projects be programmed and allocated in the same manner as federal funds in the STIP. This project proposes to program $24,900,000 for construction capital and support in fiscal year 22-23. The scope of the project is for site preparation, including earthwork and drainage. This is just for notice and will return in December for approval. So no action is required at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No one wished to speak and no public comment on this item. Item 77, Elika.
Commissioners, tab 77 is an information item presenting the 2021 Active Transportation Program Status Report. In 2019, the Commission began publishing the annual Active Transportation Program Status Report to improve program transparency and summarize project progress. In 2021, the report includes a list of the over 900 active transportation program projects that the Commission has programmed in the statewide, small urban and rural, metropolitan planning organization, and greenhouse gas reduction fund components of the program. This listing includes each project status through the end of the fiscal year 2020-2021, including allocations, advances, time extensions, lapses, and savings. Commission staff has worked with Caltrans, Division of Local Assistance, to identify any errors and to ensure the accuracy of this report. Commission staff has also shared this report with regional transportation planning agencies and the Rural Counties Task Force. Commissioners, please note that a minor edit came in after the 2021 status report was finalized. Therefore, this edit will be reflected in the 2022 status report. The 2021 Active Transportation Program Status Report is attached to the tab 77 book item. And again, this is an information item. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. We have no public comment on item 77 and no commissioners that wish to speak. So thank you, Alika, for this presentation.
Thank you.
We'll now move to items 78 and 79. Beverly Newman Burkhardt.
Commissioners, tab 78 is an action item to approve a funding distribution change for the City of Reading's Victor Avenue and Cypress Avenue Active Transportation Program project in Shasta County. The city is requesting to move Active Transportation Program funds totaling $2,092,000 programmed to PA&ED, PSNE, and right-of-way phases in fiscal years 21-22 and 22-23 to the construction phase programmed in fiscal year 24-25. This change will allow the agency to use local and federal funds during the pre-construction phases and prevent the federal funds committed to this project from lapsing. Staff has reviewed this request and recommends approval after the presentation of tab 79.
Thank you. Lori?
Yes, Commissioners, tab 79 is an action item to consider an active transportation program scope amendment for the San Diego Association of Government San Diego Border to Bayshore Bikeway project in San Diego County. This project was programmed in cycle 2 of the program for $10.2 million in ATP funds. This project is to construct a bikeway connecting San Ysidro Port of Entry and the Bayshore Bikeway. The project will improve safety and extend bike connectivity in San Diego County. The project as submitted in the application included a bikeway in several residential communities with kind of a circuitous disjointed alignment. After several outreach events, SANDAG learned that local communities and other stakeholders wanted a more direct route. SANDAG responded to the public's input by adjusting the project accordingly. In addition, SANDAG will be upgrading several bikeway sections to Class 1 and Class 4 facilities to provide extra safety benefits to bicyclists and pedestrians and encourage active transportation in the area. The attachment to the book item titled Project Scope Change Request details all the specific scope revisions requested by SANDAG. There will be a cost of increase of about $4.3 million to implement the revised scope. These additional costs will be covered by local funds. Caltrans performed an engineering assessment of the updated scope and has determined that the changes will result in an overall increase to the active transportation benefits of the project as compared to the original scope. Commission staff agrees with this assessment and in addition believes that the updated scope fulfills the intent of the original project submitted by SANDAG. Staff recommends supporting the scope amendment to the San Diego Association of Government San Diego Border to Bayshore Bikeway project in San Diego, along with the approval of item 78 that was just presented by Beverly.
Thank you. And before we take a vote, I just want to thank you, Lori, for providing that information that the change in scope was as a result of community outreach, improving a project, making it more efficient, and then finding local funds to address the other needs. This was a very helpful description of the process and hopefully one that we'll see more of as we continue our outreach, especially as has been recommended by our equity roundtable. More community input leading to better projects. So thank you very much. We have no public comment on this item. And so I will entertain a motion on items 78 and 79.
Falcon would like to move happily.
Second, Martinez.
Okay, Falcon Martinez. Douglas, can you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcon.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez.
Aye.
Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now on to item 80. Anya?
Yes, thank you, Chair Norton. Commissioners, tab 80 is an action item to amend the local partnership formulaic program. The Riverside County Transportation Commission requests to add the Mid-County Parkway Construction Contract Number 2 Redlands Avenue to Ramona Expressway project in Riverside County, and program $5,686,000 for the plan's specifications and estimate phase in fiscal year 21-22. This project will include the preparation of the plan's specifications and estimate phase for an approximately 3-mile segment of the planned Mid-County Parkway project, a new non-tolled and largely signal-free east-west alternate route to and from Interstate 215. With this amendment, 43 out of 46 agencies have programmed funding for 159 projects totaling $552.9 million since the implementation of the Local Partnership Formulaic Program. This action will leave $119 million of the 2020 Local Partnership Formulaic Program funding available for programming through June 30 of 2023. Staff has reviewed the amendment request and does recommend your approval.
Move it, Tavaloni.
Excellent. We have no public comment. Tavaloni, who's the second?
Inman.
Davis.
Great. Tavaloni, Inman, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to items 81 and 82. John?
Thank you, Chair Norton. Items 81 and 82 are both for shop allocations and they will be taken together. 81 is an action item for shop construction allocations. Please note there is a small change to a project location for one project that I will need to read aloud because the change was not noted on the change list that was distributed. So bear with me as I read a revised project location for project number 17, which should read as follows. In the city of San Diego, from Camino de la Plaza overcrossing to Otay River Bridge, also on Route 805, from Route 805-5 separation to San Isidro Boulevard undercrossing, also on Route 75 and 905 at various locations. That's the end of the revised project location. With that change noted, this item will allocate approximately $305 million for 24 shop projects. These 24 projects will improve 6 bridges, 90 lane miles of pavement, 24 culverts, 21 TMS elements, and many other important improvements to help preserve and protect our state highway system. And then item number 82 is an action item for shop pre-construction support allocations. This item will allocate approximately $112 million for 114 shop pre-construction phases for PA&ED, PS&E, and right-of-way support. Staff has reviewed these allocations and recommends approval of items 81 and 82.
Thank you so much, John. We have no public comment on 81 or 82 or commissioners wishing to speak. Can I entertain a motion on these 2 items?
Tavaloni, move it.
Falcone, second.
I heard Tavaloni, Falcone. Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. We have items 83 through 89. Teresa?
Commissioners, agenda item 83 is an action item. This is a request to allocate to the department the annual funds for the federal fiscal year 21-22 of $1,920,678,000. The department's local assistance program administers the subvention budget under delegated authority from the commission. This requested amount is larger than what the department typically requests in prior years by approximately $200 million. The increase was not really clarified. Therefore, staff at this point recommends only half of the requested amount. We recommend the department request the other half at the time the department has more accurate apportionment amount later in the fiscal year, and we can get a better understanding of this increase. Staff recommends approval of $960,339,000
That was quick. I gave it to you.
sub-allocation for the federal fiscal year 21-22. Under agenda item 84, this is an action item. This is a request to approve the project list for the CRISA program. The project list consists of 16 projects to 13 local agencies totaling over $29 million, as shown in attachment A of the book item. The CRISA program guidelines require regions to submit to the commission a project list for approval prior to the obligation of funds. This request is consistent with the CRISA program guidelines the commission approved early in the year. Agenda item 85. Any questions on agenda item 84?
Teresa, we have a public speaker on 84, which we'll go back to later. I would like to ask if you could repeat the amount of money you are now recommending for 83, as we had an interruption in the audio.
Staff recommends approval of $960,339,000 for the federal fiscal year of 21-22. This is half of the requested amount.
Okay, thank you. And we'll take the public comment on 84 after you go through all of these items, unless you'd like to take it now.
We can take it now if you want to, because I'll leave it up to you, Madam Chair.
Then Justin, could you please alert us to the public comment on item 84?
Yes, thank you, Chair Norton. We have received one written comment submission. This comes from Mike Garabedian. He writes, to the Commission, when it met in Placer County, the Transportation Commission's tour included an overlook view of the existing I-80 SR65 interchange. The essential viaduct and lane expansion safety project was completed without opposition. This relieved traffic backup for westbound traffic exiting from I-80 to State Route 65 North. Since that tour, a redesign of the interchange has come to define the project. The Commission tour did not include the development area for which this interchange and the State Route 65 widening are stated to be needed in order to relieve congestion. The magnitude of development has come into focus with the implementation of the Placer County Conservation Plan and TCP-ACP, an 850 square mile area. For the 450 square mile development potential future growth area, the Placer County Conservation Program Plan and the Placer Conservation Authority, Placer County and Lincoln, are accepting mitigation fees for complete elimination of wetlands, vernal pool, prairie, including without regard to water quality impacts. This PCCP map shows the Placer Parkway route at placer.ca.gov. One of the impacts is from PCCP permittee South Placer Regional Transportation Agency's Placer Parkway proposal of a 15-mile freeway between State Route 65 and State Route 99. Since the 2016 failure to pass the Placer County Measure M transportation sales tax increase that included Placer Parkway and the I-80 SR65 interchange, the PCTPA and new freeway sponsor SPRTA have added to its budget for the hope for next try to pass a sales tax increase. The widening baseline road between Roseville and SR65, urban runoff mortality syndrome is big, researched as a potential impact of Placer Parkway. Transportation north of Placer County on State Route 65 requires a note. The next community is Wheatland. State Route 65's widened lanes are not needed for traffic north of Placer County on State Route 65. The developments here were imagined as early as 1994. Placer Parkway came into focus around 2000. The development and highway improvements are anachronisms that would create VMT, GHG, and other traffic transportation problems. The commission and staff need to complete the unfinished tour to see what the project is, what it's for, and how it would undermine California transportation policy. Support for the project needs to be evaluated in light of relevant commission policies and criteria. We believe it will not stand up. We're attaching a rough sketch map that introduces some idea of what the commission and CRRSAA are being asked to support. We suggest that a map of the project and project area would debunk arguments, including lobbying for the project. We also have questions regarding the TCIF project 126 progress report. Mike Garabedian, Placer County tomorrow, Lincoln, California. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just real quickly, the CRISA funds have a very broad eligibility. So these are the COVID relief funds that we receive from the federal funds, from the federal government. And so eligibility is very broad. And so I'm going to reach out to Mr., I don't recall his name, I'll get his contact information and just talk about more on his concerns. I don't think this is the good place to address his issues just because of the type of eligibility that is very broad. If that is okay with you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Teresa. That would be a good next step.
Okay.
We will continue to move forward with your recommendation for allocation, though.
Okay, yes. Staff recommends the approval of that. It's consistent with the CRISA program guidelines, and staff will recommend approval at the end. Okay.
Excellent.
Under agenda item 85, this is an action item. This is a financial allocation request of $762,000 to 11 locally administered STIP projects off the state highway system. Staff has reviewed this request and is consistent with the STIP guidelines and the program. Under agenda item 86, this is an action item. This is an allocation request of $1,437,000 for a locally administered STIP planning, programming, and monitoring project in Orange County. Staff has reviewed this request and it is consistent with the STIP program and the guidelines. Agenda item 87, this is an action item. This is an allocation request of $501,000 for 3 locally administered STIP projects. These are all local road rehabilitation projects in Modoc County and Mono County. Staff has reviewed this request and it is consistent with the STIP guidelines and the program. Agenda item 88 is also an action item. This is a STIP allocation request advancement of $2,686,000 for the Hagman Road Extension Project in Kern County. These funds are programmed in fiscal year 22-23. Typically, we don't recommend advancing such early in the fiscal year, but these are COVID relief funds. So that is the reason we don't have an issue, and staff is going to recommend approval as it is consistent with the guidelines and the program. Agenda item 89 has a yellow replacement item. This is an allocation request for the mini high platforms improvement rail project in various counties. The request is now for $1,494,000, and the project will install mini high platforms at 11 Amtrak stations in the Capitol and San Joaquin corridors. This request is consistent with the STIP guidelines and the program. With that, staff recommends you approve agenda item 83 through 89. It is consistent with their individual program guidelines, and staff recommends your approval.
Thank you very much. We have no other comment on 85.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I interrupted you. Please continue.
No problem. We have no public comment on 85 through 89. So do we have a second to Carl Gardino's motion?
Davis will second that.
Gardino, Davis, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tavallone,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Now we'll take items 90 through 93 together. Casey?
Thank you, Chair Norton. Tab 90 is an action item requesting to allocate $2,876,960 in Proposition 1B Highway Railroad Crossing Safety Account funds to the McKinley Street Grade Separation Project in Riverside County. This allocation is consistent with the Proposition 1B Highway Railroad Crossing Safety Account closeout policy that was approved in the June 2021 Commission meeting. Tab 91 is an action item requesting to allocate $7,077,000 to 4 transit and intercity rail capital program projects awarded in the 2018 program. Staff has reviewed these requests and finds them consistent with the program update on tab 39. Tab 92 is an action item requesting to amend the previously approved allocation. The original allocation did not include the full programmed amount. To be consistent with the Commission's allocation policy, this request will increase the original allocation from $30,932,000 to $64 million. Did I say that right? $30,932,000 to $64,100,000. And then finally, tab 93 is an action item to increase the original allocation from $2 million to $14 million. This correction is necessary to properly reflect it as a design build project. In addition, the agency is requesting to extend the period of project completion by an additional 12 months. Staff has reviewed these requests and recommends approval of tabs 90 through 93.
Thank you very much. We have no public comment on these items and no commissioners wishing to speak. Do we have a motion?
Second Tavallone. First Tavallone, I'm sorry.
Second, Lou.
Okay. And who would like to second that?
Lou.
Excellent. Tavallone, Lou. Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tavallone,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Item 94, Alicia?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tab 94 is an action item for 2 allocation requests totaling $3,213,000 for the Short Line Railroad Improvement Program. The first project request is for $1.4 million, $13,000 for the Arizona-California Desert Rail Replacement Project, which is programmed in fiscal year 2021-22. Our second project is a request for $1.8 million for the Stockton Terminal and Eastern Railroad Stockton Intermodal Transload and Alternative Fuel Project, which is programmed in fiscal year 2020 and 2021. Staff has reviewed these requests and they are consistent with the Short Line Railroad Improvement Program guidelines, and therefore we recommend approval of tab 94.
Justin, can we confirm that there's no public comment on 94?
Chair Norton, we have no public comment at this time. Thank you.
Excellent. Can we please entertain a motion?
So moved. Eager.
Second, Inman.
Eager, Inman. Douglas, can you please do the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tavallone,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. We will take 95 through 97 together. Kayla?
Thank you, Chair Norton. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tabs 95, 96, and 97 are action items for allocation requests for the local partnership program. Tab 95 is an allocation request totaling $21,838,000 in local partnership competitive program funds for 2 locally administered projects off the state highway system. $19 million is requested for the Marina Salinas Multimodal Corridor IMGEN Safety and Traffic Flow Project in Monterey County, programmed in fiscal year 1920. And $2,838,000 is requested for the Market Street streetscape between Los Angeles River and East City Limits project, located in Los Angeles County, programmed in fiscal year 21-22. Tab 96 is an allocation request for $3,681,000 in local partnership formulaic program funds for the state-administered South Coast 101 HOV lanes, Montecito to Santa Barbara, segments 4D through 4E project on the state highway system in Santa Barbara County, programmed in fiscal year 21-22. And tab 97 is an allocation request for $1.6 million in local partnership formulaic program funds for the locally administered light rail modernization phase 1 Gold Line low floor light rail vehicles transit project in Sacramento County, programmed in fiscal year 21-22. Staff has reviewed these requests and the items are consistent with the local partnership program guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends your approval of tabs 95, 96, and 97.
Thank you so much, Kayla. We have no public comment on these items, so if we could entertain a motion.
Lou,
Davis.
will move it.
Okay, Lou, Davis, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gordino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tavaloni,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. We're going to take 98 through 100 together. Naveen?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tabs 98, 99, and 100 will be voted on together following the presentation on tab 100. Tab 98 is an action item to approve a Cycle 2 Solutions for Congested Corridors program allocation request of $500,000 for the state-administered Auburn Boulevard ramp meter project segment in the Placer County. This is the first allocation request for the Greater Placer-Sacramento Gateway project, which is programmed for $67 million. There are 9 total components making up this overall project. This request is consistent with the Solutions for Congested Corridors program and guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends your approval of tab 98 once the vote is taken following the presentation of tab 100. Tab 99 is an action item to approve a Cycle 1 Solutions for Congested Corridors program allocation of $20,300,000 for the locally administered Folsom Light Rail expansion project component implemented by the Sacramento Regional Transit in Sacramento County. This is the final allocation request for the Greater US 50 Multimodal Corridor Enhancement Project, which was programmed for a total of $110,300,000. This request is consistent with the Solution for Congested Corridors program and guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends your approval of tab 99 once the vote is taken following the presentation of tab 100. Lastly, tab 100 is an action item to approve a multi-funded Solution for Congested Corridors program, state transportation improvement program, and local partnership formulaic program allocation for the state-administered Soskell Junction project in the Napa County. This allocation request is for $25 million from the Solutions for Congested Corridors program, $24,158,000 from the STIP, and $422,000 from the local partnership formulaic program allocation. A total allocation of $49,580,000. This request is consistent with the Solutions for Congested Corridor program and guidelines, the STIP program and guidelines, and the local partnership formulaic program and guidelines. Therefore, staff recommends your approval of tabs 98, 99, and 100 respectively as presented.
Thank you very much, Naveen. We have no public comment on 98 through 100. Could we entertain a motion?
Move it, Tavaloni.
Second, Commissioner Davis.
Tavaloni, Davis, Douglas, could you please read the roll? Douglas?
Sorry about that. Commissioner Alvarado, Commissioner Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Eager,
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone,
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gordino,
Aye.
Commissioner Inman,
Aye.
Commissioner Liu,
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tavallone,
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to take items 101 and to 103 together. Hannah?
Commissioners, tab 101 is a request from the city of Corona for 10.3 million for construction of a grade separation in the Riverside County. Tab 102 is a request from LA Metro for 9 million for a grade separation in the city of Santa Fe Springs. Both of these projects will improve safety and goods movement. Tab 103 is a request from the Orange County Transportation Authority for 220 million from 3 different funding programs for construction of a project on State Route 55. The project will improve freight throughput, reduce congestion, and support transit options. Staff recommends approval of these requests.
Thank you very much. We have commissioners wishing to speak on item item 103 regarding the 55 corridor. First, I'll call on Commissioner Liu and then Commissioner Grisby.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make sure that this one didn't go by without comment. This tab 103 with regard to State Route 55. I'll say from the outset, I realize how far along this is, that we're at the allocation phase, that this project has been in the works for a mighty long time, and there are real problematic congestion issues along the 55 that Orange County Transportation Authority is trying to address. I do, however, think we need to go into this with our eyes wide open and be honest about what's happening here, because we're adding 2 general purpose lanes to an already congested freeway in an urbanized area. And I can see why people want to add these lanes. Unfortunately, I think that the research shows what we can expect, that we will have perhaps some short-term temporary congestion relief and then a return to heavy congestion in a few years. And I'm a little concerned about that. I will also acknowledge, I've been briefed by OCTA on this, and they've, shown me that it's more than just a general lane project. There's, things that are supposed to help reduce congestion, such as bus rapid transit, and they do get extra points for committing to making that bus rapid transit a zero emission bus rapid transit proposal. But, I think the most important thing to me is that the proposed benefits of this project, the air quality benefits, the 1,500 hours of reduced daily truck traffic time, the more than 14 million average annual hours of person travel time saved, and 41% reduction in congestion delays, et cetera, et cetera. I want to make sure that those predicted benefits are tracked and reported back to us. And I was wondering if there's a process by which we can keep track of whether this project is actually delivering the benefits that are anticipated.
Sure, Commissioner. I can respond to that question. So there's 3 parts to our tracking process for project benefits. Well, the first stage is requiring that projects report their performance metrics as a part of their project application. That step 1 is just quantifying the benefits to begin with. Then throughout the project, we have progress reports, and Angel Pyle just submitted one here today. What you saw was a very high level look at a piece of the information, but they actually submit much more extensive information to Caltrans and to staff as part of their progress reports. So that's another way that we track how they're doing on their project benefits and things like that. And then at the end of the project, at project completion, our accountability and transparency guidelines require a completion report, and it's within 6 months of project completion that is due. And the completion report, one of the things that it requires is applicants to report on the benefits that were achieved as compared to what they had estimated in the application. And if there's any differences, then they have to explain that. So that's how we are currently ensuring those benefits. But I do also want to add that our benefit period is over 20 years. And it's really hard for applicants to try to estimate all of the factors that will influence things in that amount of time. But that being said, I think that we're getting better and better at trying to make those estimates more accurate, or work with our applicants to do that.
So when we get the project closeout estimate of benefits, that's just going to be at the end of construction, right? I mean, are we going to get reports back every 3-5 years to say, here's what the status is, comparing what is projected, which are a lot of benefits, to what's actually happened?
So so after the completion report so the accountability and transparency guidelines are kind of what governs that process. And after the completion report, there's not a process in place to keep checking up on the project. However, if there are concerns identified in the completion report that would warrant further following up, then I'm sure that would be something that Caltrans and the CTC would pursue. It's still a relatively new process, so we're still working it out. But the language in the guidelines kind of lends itself to sort of making any additional decisions needed based on what they present in the completion report. And the projects are also subject to audit, so they can also be audited.
So, I mean, look, it's very late on day 2 and to be getting into a big conversation about this. I would be much more comfortable if we had, updates every few years about projects like this. And I would be, much more comfortable. And perhaps there's going to be already updates as part of a CEQA mitigation reporting requirement or something like that. I don't know. But with projects where we are adding general purpose lanes and already congested corridors and urban areas, then, it just seems to me we need to keep track to make sure that the projected benefits of these projects are actually being delivered over the long term. So we can have a longer conversation about it. I wanted to express my concerns and just let people know so that we were going into this, as I said, with our eyes open. Thank you, Hannah.
Chair Norton, if I could offer one additional item for you, Commissioner Liu, as the accountability and transparency manager at the commission, we will be revising the accountability and transparency guidelines on the near horizon. And so we can work with you on the comments you made about, maybe a more frequent follow-up on projects before the 20-year period, if that's something that you would like us to explore. So I just wanted to throw out that we can certainly take that on and in the revisions to the accountability and transparency guidelines.
And Matthew, can I ask you if that can also include transit ridership based on the multimodal aspects of the projects, so that we find out, where is the mode shift actually happening?
Certainly. When we open up the accountability and transparency guidelines, it would be for any suggestions to how to hone maybe what we had in the first round. And now that some of our projects have been completed in Senate Bill 1, I think it would be a good opportunity to determine whether or not the mechanisms we've built in for maybe, bless you, in progress reporting are sufficient. So and that will be a process that commissioners are involved in, just to confirm.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We still have questions from Commissioner Grisby. Commissioner Grisby, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to staff for the presentation. First, I want to associate myself with Commissioner Liu's comments, and I won't repeat those, but I associate myself with those. And I have 3 questions. One, I noticed that the local roads will be widened as well, and I'm wondering if they'll be multimodal. for other users of the highway. Number two, are you planning to do tolling on 55 in the future? And number three, does the BRT line have a funding source yet? Thank you.
Good question.
Commissioner Grisby, I think rather than trying to answer your questions here, I would rather get back to you. So let me make sure that I'm giving you the correct answers. I'll circle back with Caltrans and the project managers, and then I'll get back to you on those questions.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, we do not have public comment on 101 through 103. So and our commission comments were answered. So if we could entertain a motion on 101 through 103.
Commissioner Davis, I make a motion.
Thank
Second,
you.
Tavaloni.
Davis, Tavaloni, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. We will now move to items 104 and 106, which will be taken together.
Thank you, Chair Norton. Tab 104 is an action item to approve allocations of $14,987,000 for 16 locally administered active transportation program projects off the state highway system. Tab 105 is an action item to approve allocations of $935,000 for 2 locally administered active transportation program projects on the state highway system. And tab 106 is an action item to approve allocations of $1,255,000 for 3 state-administered active transportation program projects on the state highway system. Staff has reviewed these allocations and finds them consistent with the active transportation program guidelines and the adopted program. Therefore, staff recommends approval of tabs 104, 105, and 106.
Thank you so much. We have no public comment. Commissioner Davis, I think I hear you move. Who will second it?
Tavaloni.
Okay, Davis, Inman, Douglas, can you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you so much. Now we'll move to items 107 to 110. Gurtej.
Thank you, Commissioners. Tab 107 is an action item to request time extensions for 2 SHOP projects for the period of contract award. Staff has reviewed this item and recommends approval in accordance with the time extension recommendation table distributed as part of the additional meeting materials. And I will pass it to Casey for tab 108.
Thank you, Gurtej. Tab 108 is an action item to extend the contract award deadline for the Hot Spring Creek Bridge STIP project in Alpine County. Staff has reviewed this request and finds it consistent with the STIP guidelines. Tab 109 is an action item to extend the contract award deadline for the Green Line Imperial Terminal Double Tracking Transit and Intercity Rail component in San Diego County. Staff has reviewed this request and finds it consistent with the TIRCP allocation policy. And staff recommends approval of tabs 108 and 109 at the end of this section. And I'll hand it off to Hannah.
Thanks, Casey. Tab 110 is a request from the Port of Los Angeles to add 6 months to the time period that they have for a construction contract award. The port received a bid protest and they're requesting this extension to make sure that they can award the contract within the allowable time frame. This project is necessary in order to be able to move goods quickly out of the ports, and staff recommends approval of this request.
Wonderful. That means that we have motions to move forward with 107, 110. We have no public comment, so could we entertain a motion for these items?
Madam
Move it,
Chair,
Tavaloni.
Okay, Tavaloni, Inman, Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. Now we're going to take items 111 through 114 and 116 together. Gurtej?
Commissioners, tab 111 is an action item to request time extensions for 5 SHOP projects for the period of project completion. Staff has reviewed this item and will recommend approval at the conclusion of tab 116 and in accordance with the time extension recommendation table distributed as part of the additional meeting materials. And I believe Alika's coming next.
Commissioners, tab 112 is an action item to consider project completion extensions for Alameda County's ATP Active Oakland Comprehensive Safe Routes to School Program project in the Active Transportation Program. This request is consistent with ATP guidelines and Commission staff recommends approval after item 116 is presented.
Tab 113 is an action item to extend the project completion deadline for the Santa Cruz Metro ITS Equipment STIP Rail Project in Santa Cruz County. Staff has reviewed this request and finds it consistent with the STIP guidelines. Staff recommends approval at the end of this section.
Commissioners, tab 114 is an action item to approve 1 project completion time extension request for the local partnership formulaic program Transit Access Pass Bus Fare Box and Rail Station Validator Upgrades Project in Los Angeles County. Staff recommends your approval as shown on the time extension table after tab 116 has been presented.
Commissioners, tab 116 is an action item to consider a post-fact project completion time extension for the City of Hayward's Local Alternative Transportation Improvements Program, State Route 238 Corridor Improvement Project, Phase 2. The city experienced delays in utility work in the project area, specifically when the utility company's contractor was diverted to emergency projects. Due to a miscommunication from Caltrans, the city did not know about the project completion deadline until their invoice for work done after the deadline was rejected. Staff reviewed this request and recommends approval. Commissioner, staff recommends approval of tabs 111, 112, 113, 114, and 116 as shown in the yellow time extension table.
Thank you very much. And I want to be clear that item 115 was already voted on when I had left the room. So we are taking a motion on 111 through 114 and 116. There are no public comment items. Do we have a motion?
Motion Guardino for 111 through 114 and then 116.
Thank you. Thank you. Guardino, Eager. Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. These are our last 2 items coming up for today. 117 and 118. Gurtej.
Commissioners, tab 117 is an action item to request time extensions for 8 SHOP projects for the period of project development expenditure. Staff has reviewed this item and will recommend approval following tab 118 and in accordance with the time extension recommendation table.
Commissioners, tab 118 is an action item to consider a post-fact request to amend the period of project development expenditure time extension for 3 projects in the Active Transportation Program. Due to miscommunication, the City of Santa Ana and the department realized
realized a separate request is needed to extend the PS&E phase expenditure deadlines. Therefore, staff recommends approval as shown in the yellow time extension table. Commissioners, staff recommends approval of tabs 117 and 118 as shown in the yellow time extension table.
Thank you. We have no public comment on these items. Can we entertain a motion?
Move it, Tavaloni.
Okay, Eager, Tavaloni. Douglas, could you please read the roll?
Commissioner Alvarado. Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Eager.
Aye.
Commissioner Falcone.
Aye.
Commissioner Grisby.
Aye.
Commissioner Guardino.
Aye.
Commissioner Inman.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Tavaloni.
Aye.
Chair Norton.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is approved.
Thank you. We are in our public comment period, and now we have a public commenter who wishes to speak and closing remarks. Justin?
Thank you, Chair Norton. We have received one written comment at this time. I do not see any attendees with their hand raised at the moment. This written comment comes from Dawn Batiste at the San Diego Association of Governments. She writes, SANDAG would like to thank the Commission for support of the various project allocations, scope changes, and time extensions for projects in the San Diego region that were addressed today. We also would like to speak in support of fund augmentations to the Active Transportation Program and STIP transit projects addressed by Commissioner Alvarado yesterday. Thank you.
Wonderful. And as we close, commissioners and
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you. I did want to recognize the fact that we got a number of written comments to our email address regarding Caltrans cleaning out of homeless camps in the Sacramento area. The total number is about 20 letters at this point. And to be honest, it's about a 50-50 split in support of or against the clean out of those homeless camps. We will put those into the official public record and we can send copies of those to commissioners as needed. But they will go into the official public record.
Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to close this meeting just by reflecting on the fact that, as Mitch said in the beginning, that in these 2 days, we have allocated $3.1 billion worth of projects and 35,000 jobs. So thank you very much for a very productive 2 days, and we are adjourned.
Chair Norton?